We wait till Awesome, here we go. Kia ora, i te whānau. It's lovely to see everybody. Welcome to the very first inaugural even light lunch. There's our brand new branding. You'll see it in full Technicolor glory next time. And in case you're wondering if you're in the right place, this has been brought to you by the New Zealand Institute of Building, and we have got over 100 fantastic members online. Now,
gather round, whānau.
Cool. So my name's Pamela Bell, and I am a lot of acronyms, but you can call me the Chief Everything Officer. And with me today is, who are you?
I'm Chris Moller. I'm an architect and an urbanist. And for some of you, you probably recognise my face from Grand Designs New Zealand. So yeah, it's been a while.
Which is now in its, what, fifth, how many seasons?
No, we did 6.
6 seasons.
So that took us about 7 years to do that. So I feel like I did my, yeah, what would you call it? Social service.
Oh, there you go. For the nation, for architecture, for the built environment. I think we're very grateful. Thank you, Chris. And I think we'll all be watching reruns for some time by the looks.
Thank you back.
Awesome. So this is our first light lunch, and we're going to be running these every 2 weeks or every fortnight if you're a bit technical about it. We have got a balance of some serious sections and some slightly silly stuff because we like slightly silly. It's just going to be 15 minutes, so stay tuned. It'll be quite fast, and then we'll put it somewhere where you can access it just in case you missed a URL or some other tidbit that we're going to throw at you. So Chris and I are going to talk about the top 3 things that keep us awake at night, and then we're going to go into some quick fire 5 questions, if you like. So first of all, what's on top for you? What's your number top thing keeping you awake at night?
Well, it's funny when you really sit down and think about that, you think, oh boy, there's 1,000 things, of course. But I kind of thought, well, in a way, I sometimes see architecture and the construction industry generally a little bit like cooking.
Ah, not my cooking, obviously, straight out of the freezer. Yeah.
Quality for me is number 1.
Quality, yeah, we can agree with that.
Quality, like cooking, like you need good ingredients, you need a great recipe, and you need really good skill. So if we translate to the construction industry, that is really good materials, and boy, they make a difference when they're good. A great design, you really need that. And thirdly, excellent craftsmanship. And by that, I mean digital fabrication, off-site, on-site, as well as good old traditional craftsmanship. And to me, all of those 3 together are crucial.
Nice.
So what's yours?
So I've got quality, material, and craft.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, that's the school I went to, QMC. No, that was just a little coincidence. Cool. So number 1 for me is, look, I'm going to do the good news trumpet. There are some amazing things happening with women in construction. So I don't know if you've seen, but Robin Phipps has just become head of the Faculty of Architecture, Innovation, Design, everything at Victoria University. I saw
Robin.
on LinkedIn that Bailey Gear is the new president at the Civil Contractors. So we're talking horizontal here. First time in 80 years, 78 years that they've had a woman president.
Wow,
Yay.
wow.
Go you, Bailey. And of course, the new president-elect at Te Kahui Whaihanga, which is the New Zealand Institute of Architects, is Judith Taylor, who will be a lovely complement to the current president, Judy Keith-Brown. So she's the president-elect. Yeah, so I'm getting all fired up about women in construction.
Go you. And I know that you had something else that was out there too, which you talked a lot about in the past, and that was how to literally get women on the tools.
Ah, right.
How's that going?
Yes, well, another one of my hats is I work with the National Association of Women in Construction. We have 1,000 members. I sit in a governance position on their council. So there are some quite cool things that NAWIC does. And our wonderful Institute of Building, just in case you've forgotten, yeah, it's still here, does lots of work with NAWIC. So there's lots of collaboration kind of happening there.
Oh no, I thought you were going to tell me that you're going to steal all the boys' tools. You know, and not just that. that you're actually going to reinvent the tools. Because like, if I think about sailors, you know, like the boys thought they were really good at sailing and women weren't allowed to go sailing at the beginning.
Yes.
But now when you see how many really good women sailors there are, the boys are really going, oh, how do we keep up?
My answer to that is I was just going to buy the building, Chris. Yeah. Cool.
Oh.
So what's your second thing keeping you awake at night?
Yeah, well, my second thing is how can we do more with less? Because to me, there's a real nugget there in terms of what we could do differently. And that comes back to one of my great inspiring heroes, Buckminster Fuller. Check that out, people. Bucky Fuller. Here's a character. He was an American.
Google him.
Yeah, Google him, because he did all sorts of things. He was a really good engineer. He tried all sorts of crazy stuff. And the one that I suggest you go and have a look at is his invention of the automobile, which is called the Dymaxion car. And that was based on a chassis that he managed to get, I think, for free from Ford back in the 1930s. So imagine 1930s car, like box on wheels. You could fit 4 or 5 people in it max. And he got the same chassis, same engine, same tank of fuel. And his crazy thing, which looked more like a blob, you know, an egg in shape.
Yes, it didn't look very aerodynamic, let's be honest.
Oh, but it was extremely aerodynamic, and it could go
Didn't it have
4
3
times.
wheels?
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
So he was really inspired by planes and boats and all of that.
And
Bit of a
bicycles.
lateral thinker.
Tricycles. Yeah.
Tricycles. But it could go 4 times further with 4 times as many people.
And Buckminster Fuller also did the dome, and he did one of the first
That's right.
prefabricated bathrooms.
Yes.
And I know this is not exactly in the
so what's
more
your...
for less, but this is one of my favorite ones, more designed for more people for less money, which is Ray and Charles Eames. So I know that's not 100% in line with Bucky, but just had to throw it in there. I thought when you're going to talk about cars, you're going to talk about Citroens. I mean, you got a thing for Citroens?
You know,
how much time have
there is you need probably a week or maybe a year or maybe a lifetime. But I mean, I have an old 2CV.
Yes.
And that's the ultimate minimal car. And it's hilarious, and it's canvas on the roof all the way down to the rear bumper. And it has a glorious 12 horsepower. Can you imagine? And she does it full kick. It does not have a 0 to 100 time, because it doesn't get to 100.
It has picnic seats, so it's very cool. Hey, okay, I'm sure you're burning to know my second thing keeping me awake at night. Okay, I'm really excited to go to Melbourne next week. So I'm on the advisory committee for what's called Building 4.0, and you can all check it out, building4.0.org. They've got an amazing conference next week. I might be going to Schropp some presenters, but also they have got an awesome triangle between industry, academia, research, right, and government funding. This is federally funded. This is big bickies. There's a lot we could learn from what they're doing. This is digital, green, innovation, hands-on research in industry. Yeah. Okay,
that's really interesting to me, because then
next level.
Yeah. Exactly. And like, where does that then go to? Because, you know, like prefabrication, which is also one of your favorite subjects, that's very much in that zone too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's all in that zone. Cool. So what's your third thing keeping you
Well,
awake
it leads on to the third one, which, you know, all those things you're really talking about. I kind of thought, what are we really struggling with at the moment? And to me, not just as a nation, but as humans on the planet, is density. Like how to live in closer proximity. It's a kind of lead on from how to do more with less.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought, well, we need to reconnect the ingredients of living and mix them in new ways. Like in the old days, medieval hill towns, they used to do that. So, you know, you could grow, you had a veggie patch. You know, everybody lived cheek by jowl, and it was very compact, and the animals were usually underneath, probably keeping you awake, but they generated the heat and the energy.
No doubt.
Probably a bit smelly, but it was amazing. And so people's farms were actually, and so veggies, chickens, all of that.
Yeah, it's micro generation at a different scale.
Yes.
Yeah.
So mixing things up in different ways, how you live, how you work, recreation, all of that kind of interwoven in a walkable.
That sounds very handy. My children were just wondering if we could have a cow because I seem to be not keeping up with getting milk from the store, but I'm not sure it's going to fit in the apartment roof.
Oh.
Hey, I've got one last thing keeping me awake, and then we're into our quick fire stuff.
Yep.
Seeing as we just have 5 minutes to go.
Yep. Let's hear it.
So there are a lot of celebrations going on. It's award season. The Institute's awards are next week, just in case you're wondering. That's the Institute of Buildings Awards at the end of next week in Auckland. But you know what I just found out? I found out that our institute is turning 40 next year. And so after this award season, we get to plan a big party.
Oh, wow.
I know.
So what are the
exciting?
Ingredients?
Balloons, cake.
What's the
dancing.
recipe?
Exactly. Quality. Oh, where's my
And
notes?
who's going to make it?
Materials. Yes. Well, I'm not doing any cooking, so everyone will be relieved to know that. But we're doing a party. It's likely to have some of these ingredients.
Woohoo.
That's good. Yeah, can't wait. Yeah, so now let's go into our quick fire 5. So we've got some fabulous 5 questions, which we're going to have each week, just in case anyone wants to compare presenters from fortnight to fortnight. So first off, our first question is, which living person do you most admire? And the question goes to Pam and then Chris.
Okay.
Pam says, blocky ears, Chris.
Yeah.
Dave Strawn, because he's a really clever architect and he's a very crafty builder and he's a patient teacher. He was also one of my board members at Prefab NZ, as was Chris. But we all love Dave. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Who do you admire, Chris?
Absolutely. Dave's awesome. Hi, Dave. I hope you're watching. Well, that's a tricky question.
Quick fire.
And the quick fire is this. Get this. Last night, I was having dinner in Petone.
Yeah.
And somebody walked past the window, sitting at Casing, having a really delicious meal. And this character comes in and interrupts us and says, "Hi, I'm Tony the Builder." And I just thought, how cool is that? He just wanted to shake my hand and say thank you, because, you know, what we're all doing is trying to make things better. And he got a real kick out of what I did with Grand Designs. And
nice.
how sweet is that? But anyway, the person who I really reflected on was my dear friend, Paul Melser, who's sick in hospital at the moment, but he is a huge inspiration to me. He's a potter and a farmer over in the Wairarapa, and he does everything. So he grows his own trees, he built his own kiln, he cuts the trees, he mixes his own clay, and he makes his own pots. And he's been doing that since the 70s.
And they're beautiful, covetable items. I've seen them. They're
gorgeous. And I just think, you know, joining the dots is what we want to be doing. And I just thought, wow, nice. Paul's a very special.
All tribute to Paul, but that's enough for your answer for now. Thank you. Second question, what's your greatest extravagance? For me, that one's really easy. It's either tiramisu or snow. Now, at the moment, I can find more tiramisu than snow. We've got a very big problem in the North Island. So if anyone's got some snow dancing going on, please help, please.
But in your case, that's not an extravagance. I would have thought that's a deep need.
Well, yes, we'll get on to, you know, things we're addicted to later on. But yes, what's your greatest extravagance?
Mine is living between the beach, the bush, and the sky, which is where I currently live over in the bays. And it is a daily extravagance. And, you know, like this morning I got to walk on the beach with Oscar the dog. And how cool is that? It's just like...
Well, Oscar's probably an extravagance, but it just goes to show how you see things, doesn't it? Because I thought owning 3 citrons was an extravagance, but clearly I'm wrong. So which leads me on to, which talent would you most like to have? Oh, so my one is teleportation, because I'm not really a big fan of long haul flying, I'll be honest.
That sounds way too smart.
Yeah.
I was thinking...
I did get some help with that one from my children.
Oh, well, they're geniuses, both of them.
Yeah.
And gorgeous. Yeah. Gosh.
And smart and clever. Yeah.
I was kind of thinking I'm happy as I am, but now that I've heard that teleportation is out there.
Oh, go on. What talent would you most like to have?
Oh, we've got 1 minute. Come on, next.
Yeah, you're answering. What's your talent?
I said my talent.
How do you work with that?
I can't. Gosh.
Okay, you're clearly perfect. We'll move on to number 4. If you were to die and come back as a person or thing, what would it be? Keeping in mind that my answer is the Cookie Monster. So setting up the bar.
I'm an albatross. I'm just roaming.
We might be fighting over the same cookies, I'm feeling. Okay, we're on to personal mottos. What's your personal motto? Pam says mine is sliced like a ninja, cut like a razor blade. And that's because I'm a child of the 80s and I really like vanilla
Wow.
ice baby.
Wow.
Okay, what's your motto, Chris?
Well, I'm going to read you mine
Okay.
because it took a little bit of reflection and I was kind of thinking, too long,
You
too
have
abstract, too
under
whatever.
5 seconds.
Yep. To me, vibration is the essence of nature.
Yeah.
And I like to be in tune with it, like a bird or a fish or a sailing yacht, just moving with its rhythms, like being in tune with the ocean. And what I love doing is that those kind of things then lead to,
That's cool.
how to build. And this is a project we're working on in Porirua at the moment, bringing nature in. So
it's looking a bit like Buckminster Fuller, I'll be honest.
well, there is a bit of that.
A bit of a
and
dome. That one's cool. What's that one?
Well, this is just sitting on our yacht, savoring the water. But gosh, the rhythms are just gorgeous. And they just, so I just go scribbling and sketching wherever I am. And
there's an insight you don't get on Grand Design. Hey, just noticing that we might be a minute over time, so bringing this to a rapid close. Hey folks, you've been listening to Light Lunch. It is 15 quite rapid minutes and we're going to be bringing it to you every 2 weeks. And that's brought to you by the New Zealand Institute of Building. This is just for members. This is a part of your member value. Hey, in 2 weeks time, we're going to have the amazing Guy Marriage, El Mariachi, and Brittany Irvine, and they're going to be talking to you about this incredible book they've just produced, which is about medium density buildings.
Which is wicked. Go Guy.
Residential is amazing.
Bang on target.
Oh, Chris, it's so nice to have you here. We just wanted to give you a small token of our appreciation.
Just add water.
See you next time, folks. And if you've got any ideas of who you want to hear, get in touch, NZIOB or info@nziob.org.nz.
Thank you.
Ciao.